I've been asked recently, why are you talking to the atheists again? Why are you, all they do is insult people.
I suppose it may look like that. Certainly to some people, having your position at all criticized is tantamount to being insulted. But is your ego really that weak? Let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. Once again, we're talking to the Idol Smasher, who's got a thing or two to say about atheism in general and as a movement. Have a look.
And the reason why I'm concerned with the atheist movement, one, it's beginning to break down. That blitz, I mean, there was a blitz, literally. I mean, you can look at it like an American football player or a military, a blitz. That's exactly what they did. They gave religion a much needed, I think, sucker punch. But it's breaking down. You notice that when you look on the web, all these if you type in atheism, atheist, like I do about once twice a month, you get the same old diatribe, man. You get the same old stuff, the same reconstituted videos from Dawkins and that bunch, the same stuff. They're not making any progress. There's really no progress.
Well, wait a minute. What is progress exactly? First of all, it seems just a little bit hypocritical to get on the case of atheists for saying the same thing over and over, the same old diatribe. After all, just the Abrahamic religion has been around for how many thousands of years? Saying the same thing quite often. I mean, what were you expecting? That atheists would make the case against religion once and then shut up and go away? Of course not. There are many reasons to repeat yourself. People may not have heard it the first time, or they may not understand it if you say it one way, but if you rephrase yourself, they'll go, oh. Which brings us to the next point. What is progress? Is it always having something new to say? Or is it having people hear what you're already saying to open their eyes to the flaws of religion and take a more objective view of the universe? I will unabashedly say that I wish more people were atheists. At least I can trust an atheist not to be forcing Bronze Age morals down people's throats, backed by threats of eternal damnation enforced by an invisible supreme being. At least I can trust atheists not to deny uncomfortable or inconvenient science on the basis of their God having a plan or providing some sort of divine protection. At least I can trust that atheists don't have some book of rules that insists that one sex is inherently weaker or more sinful than the other, or that one of the sexes desperately needs their genitals mutilated. So what would I consider progress? More people realizing that religion is dangerous and hurtful and not backed by the facts. I would consider it progress if more people were atheists.
I find atheism to be dangerous. They want to be dangerous. I'm not going to deny. If these guys were to have the world implemented the way they want it done, it would mean the eradication or forced conversion. The Hebrew would see it as a conversion. The atheist would see it as a deconversion.
I don't know any atheist who's trying to force a conversion or a deconversion. I see a lot of persuasion, but nothing that's involuntary. Oh, and telling atheists what we want?
That's a peddling.
Now, I know that you all will out there and you'll say, we don't hate Jews. Okay, you hate the reason why they're a nation.
That's a peddling.
You hate the Torah.
That's a peddling.
You hate their God.
That's a peddling.
You hate their culture because it's based in Torah.
Oh, you better believe that's a peddling.
But you don't hate Jews themselves. You just hate everything about them.
Well, then I guess I hate my mom's side of the family because they're Jewish. I don't actually hate religion or religious people. I'm an atheist because I see no evidence for the claims made by religion. I'm a proactive atheist because I see and would like to prevent the harm caused by religion. Now, you can call that hatred if you want to, but does a lifeguard hate drowning people, or do they just want to prevent the harm and hurt caused by it? When you understand that analogy, you'll understand why your characterization of the atheist mindset is completely wrong.
By your very definition of the anti-theist movement, you want to eradicate the Jewish people, Judaism, and Torah from the world.
That's a peddling.
First of all, atheism and anti-theism are different things. Atheism is the absence of belief in any deities. Anti-theism is the recognition that religion is harmful and that we'd be better off without it. Don't go conflating the two. But in neither case will the cause be championed by any method other than persuasion. If you want to keep believing in Bronze Age bullshit, I'll have no choice but to suck it up and deal. Unless, of course, you start causing measurable harm to people, at which point I'll be obligated to step in.
Along with all the other bull crap that's out there, and good stuff. I'm sorry, but there are very good elements to Buddhism and Christianity and the American Indian.
And if it were permissible to keep just the good stuff and cast off the harmful bits, we would have a lot less to discuss. But as I understand it, most religions are an all-or-nothing deal, which makes it baby and bathwater time.
There are plenty of good people in the world despite their religion.
And the fact that it's despite their religion and not because of it doesn't tell you something.
There are good atheists in the world, but atheism itself calls for, in the end, y'all, the eradication of the Jewish people, the eradication of Torah, and the eradication of God on the lips of all human beings.
Ooh, you better believe that's a pattern.
Once again, atheism is only the absence of belief in any gods. It does not call for anything. Yes, there are those of us who have decided to be more like activists, who are trying to persuade people that their religious position is not supported by the evidence and that their holy book advocates some pretty nasty things. But absolutely none of that is inherent in being an atheist, which, again, is just not believing in any gods. And, once again, eradication is not part of the tactics of those of us who advocate for atheism publicly. If we cannot persuade you that your views are not supported by the evidence, we're shit out of luck. But we're going to keep trying. Now, a lot of religious people at least manage to give the impression that any dissent whatsoever is tantamount to persecution. And if that's you, I recommend you get over it.
I want to read you a quote. This was a comment on Essence of Thought's latest video. It says, You guys organize, you missionize. Your main topic of discussion is God and how all other viewpoints outside the general scope of atheism are wrong and dumb and curse the earth. You look to the Bible to further your worldview to all who have ears to hear, seeing what you want to see and want other people to see, just like religion. Now, I'm not saying atheism is a religion, but I am saying you atheists do look, walk, and quack like a duck. Big, bitter, prejudicial ducks. The moment the atheist missionizes their beliefs to others, atheism becomes a religion.
Though it does lack that one crucial and non-negotiable element, belief in deities. That's kind of a requirement to be a religion. And there are parts of this comparison that, on the surface, seem reasonable and accurate, but if you take a deeper, more critical look, you'll find that they don't actually hold up. Let's break it down.
You guys organize, you missionize.
So banding together for strength in numbers in the name of a common cause and advocating that cause in public makes you a religion? So I guess political parties are religions too.
Your main topic of discussion is God.
Well, what are we supposed to talk about? Trade restrictions on imported steel? Of course we're going to talk about God. But does talking about something make you part of that something? Can I talk about medicine without being a doctor? Can I talk about movies without being a director? Can I talk about cars without being a driver? Of course I can. So if I talk about God, that does not make me religious. Talking about God makes an atheist religious in exactly the same way that talking about food makes a restaurant critic a chef, which is to say, not at all. If you're going to be religious, there is one very critical, non-negotiable component: belief in a deity, or at least the supernatural.
Your main topic of discussion is God and how all other viewpoints outside the general scope of atheism are wrong and dumb and curse the earth.
And like rational, critical thinkers, we will point out evidence that contradicts your position or point out the lack of evidence supporting your position. What we do not do is demand that people have faith in our position. If no side can convince you of the truth of its claims, it's for the best that you don't join any side, though that would make you an atheist by default, since the number of gods you'd believe in would be 0. But unlike religion, atheism will make no demands of you, impose no rules upon you. There is no holy book or atheist authority which must be obeyed. And atheists say that religions curse the earth? No, we don't. We might point out some of the harm caused by religion, but there is no atheist prophecy that says all of the false religions will bring about a final apocalypse.
You look to the Bible to further your worldview to all who have ears to hear.
Well, if you say that we've looked at the Bible to point out all of its flaws and the harm that it advocates, well, what did you expect us to do? How are we to criticize a religion if we don't study its holy text?
Seeing what you want to see and want other people to see, just like religion.
Are you kidding me? There are a lot of inconvenient and uncomfortable facts out there that I wish I didn't see, but I have to admit their truth because the evidence supports them overwhelmingly. And there are a lot of things I wish I did see that I don't. But if what's meant is that atheists interpret the Bible the way we want to, that we see what we want to see about religion in there, I'd say that it's the other way around. The very existence of religious apologists, the ones who try to make the Bible into a much more fluffy bunny version of itself, they are the ones trying to see what they want to see, instead of the rather nasty things contained within that book.
Now, I'm not saying atheism is a religion, but I am saying you atheists do look, walk, and quack like a duck. Big, bitter, prejudicial ducks. The moment the atheist missionizes their beliefs to others, atheism becomes a religion.
Having heard it all the way through and broken it down, the only thing I can say about this comparison is that it sure seems to be projection, pure projection.
Without the mission to eradicate all religion and belief in God or a God out of society, atheism is merely a philosophy.
And this is just another shut up and go away tactic, like I've pointed out in many other arguments against atheism before. You're arguing against faith? You're arguing against religion? Well, you believe in the Big Bang and that takes faith, and you argue against religion and that makes you religious. So you're not allowed to argue against us without making you a hypocrite. Now shut up and go away. If atheism is merely a philosophy with no advocacy of the position, what this means is that religion has nothing to challenge it, no obligation to show that there's any validity to the position, which is certainly the impression being given here. But while I can understand the desire to just be left alone, making up arguments that try to accuse atheists of hypocrisy does not grant your side any more validity.
If it's not enough for you to just be an atheist, why are there atheists out there encouraging people to come out as an atheist?
You mean to be brave enough to step forward and not be afraid to admit their lack of God belief? To not fear mistreatment at the hands of religious people? Gee, let me think.
You hear what's spoken to you by Nye and Dawkins, and you follow their example.
If by follow their example you mean take a critical look at the world and not take for granted the words in a certain holy book, sure. But if you mean that we follow their every word like atheist popes and take the books they write as holy writ, well, I sure hope no atheist does that. As I said before, this argument that atheism is a religion sounds purely like projection from the religious standpoint.
Dawkins is a dick. Bill Nye's a dick. Fuck them. Who are they to talk about policy and how other people should raise their fucking children? And you tell me it's not a religion?
Again, pure projection. It does not take religion to say, hey, here's what's best for kids and here's what's harmful.
Not all atheists are religious. Not all theists are religious either, but there is a religion to atheism.
I'm beginning to suspect that you don't know what religious means. Religious, adjective. First, of, pertaining to, or concerned with religion. Second, imbued with or exhibiting religion, pious, devout, godly. Third, scrupulously faithful, conscientious. Fourth, pertaining to or connected with a monastic or religious order. Fifth, appropriate to religion or to sacred rites or observances. Take note of what it does not say. It does not mention discussion, public advocacy, or proselytizing. And before you get on my case about how the first definition says of or pertaining to religion, keep in mind that the example given is a religious holiday. And you yourself said that there are people who are in a religion but who are not themselves religious. Context matters.
If you want it to stop being a religion, stop missionizing the world about it. We don't give a shit. Most people don't give two shits what you believe, as long as you're a nice guy. So why do you want everybody else to think like you?
Why would we want people to take a critical look at the world, to seek out evidence for claims, to value facts more than faith? Gosh, I have no idea. And newsflash, there are a lot of religious people out there who aren't nice guys because of their religion and what it advocates. So why would I want people to think like me? Gee, I don't know, maybe because it would make life suck a lot less for a whole lot of people.
You want your view to be the right one.
Ooh, you better believe that's a pattern.
What I want is for the view that's actually backed by facts and evidence to be the right one, and also the view that causes the least harm to people. So far, no religion has managed this, and without a religious belief, the only other thing you can be is an atheist.
You have to speak negatively of everything, even if it's not necessarily theist, might be non-theist, but hold to what you would consider theism. I've been told it's just as dangerous to pray and meditate, even though you don't go to church or whatever. But that's still just as stupid because there's no basis in it. There's nothing testable about it. I mean, really, atheist, how can you test something that changes the consciousness of the person doing the testing?
The person doing the testing? You mean the medical technician with the EEG machine measuring the brainwaves of the person who's meditating? Somehow that will change their consciousness? Or did you mean that the person who's meditating will do their own testing, which is, let's face it, bullshit? And yes, it is kind of stupid, even potentially harmful, to believe in things which you cannot verify with facts or evidence. This is where we get conspiracy theories about things like chemtrails, or the anti-vaxxers, or heck, even just the people who say they've seen Bigfoot or that Elvis is still alive. Now, I suspect that you won't like it and will probably find it insulting, but alas, religion is in the same category with all of that other nonsense and superstition.
I want to stop it there.
And it's just too bad there isn't a God to thank. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think.